Hi, Kevin Wright back with another property finance tip. And what's the subject this week? HMOs. More specifically, HMOs and how are they valued? Probably the most asked question I get on property finance. I thought I'd better do a video on it. If that interests you, keep watching. Okay, HMOs. Now, I know not everyone's into HMOs, but for those people that are, how an HMO is valued is of particular interest because usually it's people not buying ready-made, ready-converted HMOs or tenanted HMOs. So, you know, a turnkey operation, an off-the-shelf type of thing. They're creating the HMO. So, you know, if you're one of these people that doesn't want to recycle your cash, you've just got a big lump of money and you're happy to throw some of it at an HMO that's already up and running and fully converted as an HMO, then great. This video has got something in it for you too. But it's more about if you're going to buy a standard property, convert it into an HMO, and then look to get your cash back out again by refinancing it. And I think that's where a lot of people are looking to do that. So recycling your cash again. And if you watch any of my videos, you know that I'm very big on recycling your cash or buy, refurb, refinance. Of course, with an HMO, it's more buy, convert, refinance. So it's not BRR, it's more BCR, but you don't see that acronym talked about too much, do you? Okay, now the answer to the question, how are HMOs valued, begins with, it depends. And a lot of answers tend to begin with, it depends. So what does it depend on? Well, it depends in part on what the property was before you converted it and what type of HMO it is after you converted it. Now, there are certain categories that will get a commercial valuation, and there are other categories that are very unlikely to get a commercial valuation. They'll just get a standard bricks and mortar valuation. So let's look at some of the differences. But before we look at those categories, it's always good to look at it from a lender's point of view. Now, you may have heard me say this on other areas of finance. So whenever you're borrowing money on a mortgage, the lender has always got one eye on what happens if you don't pay that mortgage consistently at any particular time, whether you've had it a few months or a few years, you suddenly stop paying, you don't restart paying, your arrears build up, and the only way that they can get their money back is to start repossession proceedings. Now, a mortgage lender is always going to have that in their mind and be looking to see that there's a get out that they've got to get their money back. And that get out to get their money back is invariably being able to put it on the market with vacant possession and available to the widest choice of buyers. So that's the escape route that mortgage lenders like to set up with any mortgage, HMO or otherwise. And that escape route, in part, leads to why not all HMOs are going to be valued on their income or on a commercial valuation, but as a standard bricks and mortar instead. So what types of HMO are likely to be valued on their income? So first of all, you've got HMOs with 7 or more bedrooms. Why does the 7th bedroom make a difference where the 6th bedroom doesn't? Because of planning laws. Permitted development rights exist unless the council has removed them in a given area. We're going to talk about that more under Article 4 next. But permitted development rights exist to take a normal house and convert it into an HMO of up to 6 bedrooms. Now, more than 6 bedrooms, you can't do a permitted development rights conversion. You have to apply for planning permission to go above 6 bedrooms. Now, because it's more than 6 bedrooms and because it needs planning, those are the type of houses that aren't going to appeal to the mass market. So if someone wants a 7 or 8 bedroom home, it's not going to be in a residential street. It's going to be in like 5 acres of ground or something like that. So the mass market is not going to want to buy a 7 or more bedroom house in a standard residential street. So therefore it's taken out of the mass market. So 7 or more bedrooms HMO is likely to be valued as a multiple of its income, commercial valuation. What else? Well, an Article 4 HMO. So Article 4 is a restriction that councils can put on any area within their jurisdiction, either a blanket covering or even an individual street, to say that they remove the permitted development right to convert any property to an HMO, and you can only convert a property to a new HMO with express planning permission. Now, why would a council slap an Article 4 restriction on an area and take away your right to make any property you choose into an HMO? Usually it's because they feel there's already saturation level of HMOs in that particular area. As I say, that could be a whole area, or that could be as literally as precise as a street. Now, if you want to buy an HMO in an existing Article 4 area, then that will be given an income-based or commercial valuation. So we looked at 7 or more bedroom HMOs. We've looked at Article 4 area HMOs. Now let's look at a third one, and that is sui generis HMOs. Now, quick bit of Latin for you. Didn't know I was bilingual, did you? Quick bit of Latin there for you. So sui generis, which I'm reliably informed is of its own kind. In other words, if it's a property like no other in the area, then that could get a commercial valuation. And what sort of properties will they be? Well, typically they'd be commercial properties converted to an HMO. And why would that be? Because a property that looks like a commercial property doesn't have that mass market appeal that lenders look for when they want their escape route. So there's 3 of the most common reasons why an HMO would get valued on its income. Now, what multiple of income would it be? Well, that's going to vary. It's going to vary regionally, and it's going to be decided by the mortgage lender's valuer under guidance from the lender. And they can do it one of 2 ways, either gross rent or gross rent less costs. Costs being voids, agency fees, bills, and maintenance. Now, I will give you a rough estimate, but don't take this as gospel because it can vary. Now, if you're looking at the net income, which is minus those 4 costs that I just said, then probably 10 times the net is not too far away. Again, don't quote me on that because there are variations. And if it's the gross income before those 4 costs, then probably something nearer 7 times would be there or thereabouts. Again, don't quote me on that because you can get variations on that. But those are very rough ballpark figures. Now, we looked at which properties are likely to get an income-based commercial valuation, but now let's look more closely at the ones that are not, the types that are only really going to be valued like an ordinary house on a bricks and mortar valuation. And remember what I said about the escape route, because that is the key to it really, the escape route. So if a mortgage lender and their valuer look at a property with up to 6 bedrooms that's been converted to an HMO under permitted development rights, and they consider that if they repossessed it, got rid of the tenants, and could put it on the market and sell to the mass market with vacant possession, they will value it as an ordinary house because they're going to sell it as an ordinary house. Now, the point to consider here is that HMOs are not going to be repossessed by the mortgage lender, maintained as an HMO and put on the market because it's too restrictive. The number of people that want an a tenanted HMO is way smaller than the number of people that would want a vacant residential house that they could move into if they so wanted to with their family. So on that basis, then, the question about does it get a commercial valuation or bricks and mortar valuation is, could it be emptied and put on the market and appeal to the wide range of mass market buyers? If it could, in other words, if the alterations or the conversion was less severe and it could just be marketed as a family house, then it's almost certainly, regardless of the lender, going to be valued on bricks and mortar. Now, the type of HMO that's most likely to be valued like this is, let's say it's a 3-bedroom terraced or semi with 2 downstairs reception rooms, one of which, let's say the front one, but it could easily be the middle one. So the lounge is converted to the 4th bedroom. And when I say converted, what do I mean? Well, any lounge furniture is taken out and a bed, a wardrobe, a computer desk, maybe one other 2 bits of furniture is put in there. So its definition as a lounge or a bedroom is not a structural definition, it's determined by the furniture that's in the room. No HMO lender is going to repossess a property that's been running as an HMO and keep it fully tenanted and market it as an HMO. They're just going to strip all of that out so that it can be marketed with vacant possession to the mass market of people that can use it as a family home. If, however, your conversion has been more severe in terms that it wouldn't easily be marketed as a family home because you've made structural changes to that property that meant that it couldn't be marketed as a family home with vacant possession, then that now shifts the balance more in favour of it getting a commercial valuation. And there are some lenders that are more open to that than others, but the one root fact is that a mortgage lender is never going to lend you more than they believe they can recoup if they had to repossess you and sell the property on the open market or possibly through auction. Okay, so we've had a trip through HMOs. I thought it was an issue that was worth addressing. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I'll be back again next week with another one. And hey, hang around. I've got a couple of things I want to show you first.
If you enjoyed watching this video, did you know every Monday morning at 8:30 I do a live Facebook Q&A. So if you want to start the week with checking out some answers to your property finance questions, click the link here.